All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we've got some green-blue Zonji action lined up for you today. But I will say this. We are using a version of the deck that will not be available very soon. So this will be kind of like a going away type of party, like a farewell party for Green Blue Zonji here using the Seven Warlords package. Going forward on, I believe it's on April 1st, we are no longer going to have access to Jinbe. That hurt me deeply, guys. That hurt me deeply for my Green Blue Zonji deck, because I did think the Seven Warlords version was the best version of that deck, at least currently at the time of recording this. But I think we still have a pretty decent option with the film package, and we'll be exploring that going forward with this leader. I don't plan on just like giving up on the leader, but just moving away from the more blue, flavored version of the deck with the Seven Warlord stuff. Okay, so with that in mind, guys, let's go ahead and get into today's video. We still have a lot to talk about, a lot of really cool games to go over and all that good stuff. Let me go ahead and break down the video for you first. First things first, we're going to check out the deck list. We'll talk about how it's functioning and all that good stuff. After that, I believe we have, I'm not going to count them all up, but I think we have like 9 or 10 games on the sim, guys. 9 or 10 games on the sim of Green Blue Zonji. All right. So we'll go over those games, and then after that, we will finish out the video by checking out the deck list one more time, talking about the direction we're going to have to go moving forwards with this leader. And of course, if you guys have any kind of input, if you can help me out, please do so in the comment section. Give me some ideas on where to go from here. Now, with that in mind, guys, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general let's try that again. I will have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and things like that in the comments section below. All right, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below as well, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link is in the channel description. This video is sponsored by Nin Garden. Their latest spring collection just dropped with 3 new designs, and to celebrate, they are running a spring sale. Buy one, get any classic mat 40% off with the code SPRINGSALE. Plus, use NIN10 for an automatic 10% off at the checkout. You can stack this with my promo code, the VV Theory, for an additional 5% off, bringing you to a total of 15% total savings on top of the 40% off. All right, guys, let's go ahead and break down the deck list for today's video. We got Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji here. I usually just call him Zonji for short. It's a 5,000 power 4-life Green Blue Straw Hat leader with the effect of Dawn ×1. When attacking once per turn, you may return one of your cost 2 or higher characters to the owner's hand, and then you're going to be able to set up to one of your power 7,000 or less characters as active. So you can't pull back the little searcher here like Sengoku, but you can pull back Buckin, you can pull back Nefeltari VV Mihawk. You can return anything else technically, but the main targets you're going to be going for is Nefeltari VV, Dracula Mihawk, and Buckin, and then of course a card that will be gone soon, unfortunately, in Jinbe. So let's just go ahead and talk about Jinbe real quick before we go any further. I already had these games pre-recorded before the bans were even announced. So if I, let me say it like this. If I had known that Jinbe was going to be banned, of course, I probably would have done the video today very differently, especially with the footage I already had recorded for games showing off this deck list. But bear with me, guys. Hey, we'll use this as like one last goodbye to Jinbe in the list, before we have to send him on his merry way into oblivion, into the ban section. But no, we'll have fun with it as, this will probably be the last time I even try a 7 Warlords package within the Green, Blue, Zoro, and Sanji, leader deck or whatever, with this deck. But anyway, let's go ahead and break down the deck list. We're running 3 Hody Jones. This character is just extremely powerful. It's very, very strong. Dracula Mihawk is mainly because it is 7 Warlords of the Sea, cheating out Weevil. We have Jinbe to also cheat out Weevil. We also have Buckin to cheat out Weevil. We have so many ways to get this card into play on the cheap or with, with tempo. It's just such a good combination. But if we lose Jinbe, I guess you could still try to make this list work without Jinbe, because you can still cheat out the Edward Weevil with the Dracula Mihawk or the Buckin, but I think losing that 5,000 power body really does hurt, because I think you're going to see in this video, a lot of times I like to swing with 5 with the Jinbe, and I'll pull the Jinbe back to my hand to save the card, to play it out again after all my attacks are done, to cheat out another, 7 Warlords character. So this card was a very big part of the engine that what made this deck run, alongside Edward Weevil and the cards that cheat them out like Buckin, Mihawk, and Jinbe. So, excuse me. We do have the Searcher Sengoku, and we have a way to pull it back to hand with the Jozu, which is really nice. That helps us get extra value later in the game. We're running 3 of the Boa Hancocks because it's just not quite as good in this deck like it is in Doflamingo, but it is still a very strong 4-cost 6K Searcher. 4-cost 6K blocker that can look at your top 3 cards. Draco Mihawk, 2K, so a lot of 2K counters in here. We have 2 of the Draco Mihawks, so 8 altogether, and then 4 of the Crocodile here. Those are just 2K counters in this deck, to be honest, but if you don't have a better card to cheat out, like the Weevils in here with your Jinbe, you can cheat out these 2K counters, and they're pretty big as well. They do help out. We're running 2 of the 0-cost event for just a little bit of extra counter power. It's also a way to get rid of these cards like Buckin in our hand, or the Hody Jones, or even the Boa Hancock, if we just don't have the counter power in hand, because we have to do our absolute best to save our board, so this card does come in handy from time to time. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Don't forget what this Weevil does, guys. Dawn ×1 when attacking, return a 3-cost or lower character to its owner's hand, so we can pull back our Buckin with this if we need to, or our Nefeltari Vivi, or our Sengoku, or one of their characters or something like that, or our Draco Mihawk or whatever. But typically speaking, we're not going to want to send those characters back with this effect. We're going to want to send those characters back with our leader's effect so that we can stand one of our characters as active. The only card we can't do that with is Sengoku. So again, the main thing about this Weevil here and this Jozu, the main target we want to pull back of our cards is actually the Sengoku. Okay, so we can play it back out, get further card draw, and get more value like that. Okay? And that's about it, guys. Everything else is pretty straightforward. We got the Geckos in here to pull back the Edward Weevils or the Jinbeis or whatever we need, like 2K counters. We have the Nefeltari Vivi to refill our hand. And guys, this deck was running actually very well. It was running really, really well. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this. At the end of the video, we will go over a new deck list to kind of talk about moving forward, with this leader. We'll talk about another deck list moving forward, okay, at the end of the video. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let's get into some games on the sim. All right, first up, we got a game versus Blurple Luffy, Blue-Purple Luffy. Some people don't like when you say Blurple. I guess like that combination of letters, it sounds like burp or something. People don't like the way that sounds, and I totally understand that, and I totally respect that. Okay, speeds on 2x, volumes off. Here we go. It looks like they're going to get to go first. They start off with the Searcher. It's called Let's Crash This Wedding. and then and we're going to start off with a Searcher of our own with Sengoku, and then we're going to pass it back. Let's see what they choose to do on their turn 2. Just waiting for our opponent here. It looks like they've kind of, okay, I was going to say sometimes they, you never know what's happening in someone's, on someone else's side of the computer there. He might have had the door to get or something like that, or maybe he just didn't see the turn passed. They're going to play out a Zoro here, a Zoro Juro. We don't have a way to bounce that back in hand, and this deck can't run the Trafalgar Law because we can't bounce our opponent's characters. We can still return one of our own characters, but we can't bounce an opponent's character unless our leader is 7 Warlords. So he did the whole Buckin combo there, playing out the Weevil, attacking it for 6, pulling back the Buckin, standing out the Weevil, and now we have a pretty good board here. We've attacked in for 6. We've already dealt 1 damage to our opponent. That's a really good thing. They're going to swing for 6. We're going to take that one. They do ramp a Dawn with a Zoro, and they have 5 Dawn left. Probably going to play out the 5-cost blocker Nami. That card is incredible. It really allows your opponent to do some pretty crazy things. Okay, now it is our turn. We're on our 6 Dawn turn here. It looks like I want to play a Jinbe. I'm going to swing 6 into 4. Yeah, he's just going to let that go. That was 100% the right decision there. It looks like we're going to play out the Jinbe. We might have an interesting play here. We're going to attack, or we're going to play out the Jinbe, cheating out a Gecko Moria. Now it looks like we're going to swing for 7, maybe. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna say another option. We might. Well, no, never mind. I was gonna say we could have played Buckin out, but we didn't have the Dawn to do all that. So we swing in for 7 and just past the turn. Not a great turn for us by any means. Not a great turn, but we did get an attack and we got a 2K out of hand. They're gonna swing in for 6 now. This is their 8 Dawn turn, so they were not able to set their their cards just yet. That will be next turn for them. We're gonna 1K counter out to save our Weevil. And next turn is probably going to be pretty rough for our opponent here. Now, that was nice. They're running the 7-cost Doflamingo. That card might have just saved them an entire turn because it was about to not be good for them. We were just going to play out the Hody Jones and go to town if we could. Actually, this turn, we probably couldn't have done it this turn the more I think about it because we only have 8 Dawn. They ramped a Dawn. We're going to play out the Edward Weevil here. Looks like we're probably going to swing in for quite a bit here. Let me see something. I think one of these turns I kind of mess up, so bear with me here. Yeah, because I want to pull back the Jinbe, believe it or not. Yeah, we're going to swing for 6. Watch this, guys. We're going to swing for 6. Wait for our opponent to make a decision here. They might just counter out. They might just take this. They're down to 5 cards in hand. I think they probably should take this because they're about to go up a bunch of cards for the start of their turn when they use their leader effect. But let's see what they choose to do. This is a very, very pivotal turn for my opponent. They counter out. Okay, so they give me a card from hand. We're going to pull back the Weevil. We're going to stand up the Jinbe here. We have another Jinbe in hand, guys. We're going to play out another Jinbe into a Weevil, and we're going to be just fine. Setting up for next turn, we can have some, you know, some extra aggression for next turn. They're going to play out the counter out with the Usohachi. We're going to play out the Jinbe, like I said, drawing a card with the Weevil, and it is now our opponent's turn. They're going to swing we're going to swing 6 more into them with our Jinbe, and now it is our opponent's turn. We'll probably have to let the Jinbe go because they'll have a 6k attack into it, a 7k attack, but then again, we've got a decent amount of counter power in our hand right now, okay? I think I should just let the card go, though, I'm going to be honest, especially the 7k attack here. Let's see what I choose to do. Maybe I'll counter out of this and force them attack into it one more time because I want to play out the Hody Jones here. Yeah, letting it go was the right play in my opinion because I want to play out Hody Jones here. That clears up a space on the board. We're completely fine. They're going to play out Katakuri, but I have terrible news for my opponent. Guys, we have Hody Jones. Now we have 2 Hody Jones. We have a Hody Jones in hand. There goes your blocker. Well, your biggest blocker. And there goes your Dawn. So that means no... whoopsies. Now, that was a mistake. Hang on a second. So my opponent now no longer has access to Gum Gum Giant or Gear 2, which are very, very powerful events that help keep this deck, you know, in the game. We just rest down their blocker and their Dawn with our Hody Jones. Now watch this. I should have given a Dawn to the Jinbe. I think that was just a misclick because I wanted to be able to swing basically 5 times this turn. It was going to be swing 6 Jinbe, swing 6 later, swing 6 Edward Weevil, swing 8 with Hody Jones, pull back the Jinbe because I can play that out next turn if I need to restand the Weevil and maybe pass the turn there depending on what kind of damage we did. So that was a mistake. That was just a whoopsie daisy, but that's fine. We could have swung. Actually, I guess it didn't matter too much. I guess because we could swing 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. That's an option. But I think we could have also actually we could have swung in with the Gecko Mori as well. So we did miss an attack there. That is unfortunate. And in this situation against Blue Purple Luffy, you want to hit 6s as many times across the board as you can because each one forces a response. Coming in for 6, they're down to 0 cards in life now. We are going to spend every single card in our hand to save this board, okay? Because we are threatening lethal easily next turn. I don't care how many Gum Gum Giants they have in hand, because we're going to tap down their Dawn, right? We're actually going to tap down their Dawn. We are threatening lethal easily next turn with this Hody Jones. We have to just try to counter out of everything we can. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7k counter in hand, which is not great. It's not a great amount of counter, to be honest. But hey, we'll see what we can get away with here. They're going to go 7 into 5. I don't think I care about that card. That card I don't care about. Now, this one I do. 2K, 1K, you can have that. And now they're probably going to swing for 9 into 8. Absolutely not. He should have gone for the Edward Weevil because I might not have been able to fully defend that with him going into the Weevil there and then with the leader. Okay, so they're going to swing 6 into 6. We give them a 1K. We're up to 7. They play out a 9 Lin. That's very unfortunate, pushing back our Edward Weevil here. That feels terrible because we easily had lethal next turn with what we had on the board, but now it's going to be a little bit close. We might still have lethal. We'll have to see what happens. We're going to rest down their cards here. It's the only chance we have. We're going to swing for 8. We'll see what they do. They're going to 2K or whatever that was there. Now we're going to swing for 8 more, and now they either have 2K, 2K, or the game is over. Or 0 cost 3K or something like that. Okay, good game. Actually, but yeah, 0 cost 3K would have gotten out of it because they're a 6,000 power leader. They only had a 2K. Good game to my opponent. They were up against the ropes there, but that was a close one. They actually started climbing back, and that's what that deck does, guys. It claws back at the end. That's a very strong deck there, Blue Purple Luffy. Okay, next up we got a game versus Enel. I tried to get some pretty decent matchups for today's game, or for today's video rather. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. Here we go, guys. We got a game versus Enel, and hey, we can go pretty wide pretty quickly because of cards like Buckin, Dracula Mihawk, and Jinbe. But unfortunately, like we said earlier, Jinbe is going to be gone. I know, guys. I'm sorry too. It's frustrating. I understand why they did it, but I'm also a little bit sad about it for my guy Green Blue Zonji here. Green Blue Zoro and Sanji. So we're going to swing for 5. They're going to take that. It's very standard for them to take that. They do a search there with Us. The card's called Us. It is a new yellow event searcher from EB02 that lets you search up any card that costs 4 or more in your deck. It's a top 4 search that searches up 4 cost or higher. We're going to go and flood out the board there with Bucking and all this stuff. They're going to swing for 6. We're countering out of that for sure. We're not letting him have that. They're going to have to remove it with something, and they don't have... Okay, they do. They're going to use the Zeus there to pop it. They're down to 2 life, and I'm actually not... I'm not too upset where we are at right now. We're going to play out the Bucking here, cheating out the Weevil. We're probably going to do some more... hang on, we're going to swing for 7, pulling back the Bucking to stand up the Edward Weevil, and now we can cheat out the other Edward Weevil with that Bucking. Okay, we're going very wide on the board. They're going to take this, guys. They're going to take it. We're going to play out the Edward Weevil, like I said, with the Bucking, and what are they going to do now? They're on a very awkward 7 Dawn turn. Some Enel decks will be running the 7 cost Enel, and that's a pretty good play here, but they only have 5 Dawn left, so it's probably going to be a Nami or maybe Gadatsu. I don't know what they might have here. It's a Gadatsu, which can't pop anything relevant. They're in trouble now, guys. We're going to rest down their blockers. Watch this. We'll go 2-0, 2-0. Your blockers are gone. Okay, now we're going to swing 6 4 times. We're going to swing 6 4 times and then 8. He took the first hit. You hate to see it. I mean, we love to see that, guys. But if you're the Enel player right here, you hate to see that unless it's a trigger. That would be pretty good. It was a you're the one who should disappear. So they just gained 2 life. We're going to swing for 6 more. They take it. We're going to swing for 6 more. We're going to stand up one of these Edward Weevils by pulling one of them back. They 2K counter out. We're going to swing for 6 more. 8. Guys, look at their hand. GG. That one was wild. And sometimes those 6K attacks and the 5K leaders are devastating. They are, because look, they had to play out a Zeus to slow me down. They played out a Zeus earlier in the game to slow me down by popping one of the characters. Well, that's a 2K character, or a 2K counter, rather. That's a 2K counter that now they don't have access to. We went through like 4 life there at the very end because we swung for 5 times. That was crazy, guys, or 3 life, whatever it was. Really good game to my opponent, but hey, Green Blue Zonji has always been pretty decent against Enel if you can establish a wide enough board. We didn't even play out a Jinbe that turn, so who knows? Maybe there's some hope because of Bucking. Okay, next up we got a game versus Blue-Yellow Nami. Now, this is not a deck that's very good to swing 6K into because they can get to 7K so easily. Against Blue-Yellow Nami, we want to hit for 7s across the board, which is fine because that's our leader's threshold. We can only restand a 7,000 power or lower character. So we start off with the Sengoku. They actually went first, then we go second. We start off with Sengoku. They swing in for like 8 or 9. We take it. They draw a card with their leader effect. We're going to swing for 5. They have to give us a card here or take a life. They give us a card, very smart. We're going to play out the Jinbe, cheating out the Edward Weevil. That's the play we're looking for. That's unfortunately going to be gone soon, but that is the play for this deck, guys. That is a strong play. They're going to swing for 5. There's no reason for us to give them this on the cheap. Okay, no Dawn on your leader. Danger, danger, danger to the Blue-Yellow Nami player. No Dawn on the leader means you're very vulnerable to the going wide attacks here. So they go ahead and fix their hand a little bit with the Nami. We're going to play out the Jozu, just get that thing out of here. We're just bouncing the Nami out of the way. They use it for a block anyway on a 5K, so that was really good for us. We swing 5, we swing 5, we swing 6. They took one of them, countered out of 2, and now we have a Jozu on the board. We have a very strong board. We don't have a ton. Well, actually, we have pretty good counter power in hand. They go ahead and quit out here. Hear me out. They were quitting out because look at their hand. They're on 7 Dawn. They cannot even play out the Jozu. Okay, they cannot play out the Jozu here because there's nothing to bounce back for them to bounce one of our characters. Are they going to hit us with a Gum Gum Red Rock right here? I know this was not like a great game to show off. I did want to show the amount of tempo that we had right here. Yeah, thanks to our guy Jinbe. I know it's sad, but right here, their best bet. Hear me out. Their best bet was actually to load all the Dawn. Actually, their best bet was to load 1 Dawn on their Nami leader, swing 6 into my Jinbe. I would 2K counter out every single time, and then just Red Rock my Jozu. Now they have a Dawn attached to their leader, and they can go from there. But here's the thing, guys. I only lose 1 character there. Next turn, I'm swinging all out. It's going to be swing 7, swing 7, swing 7, swing 7. That's 4 7s. So that would be a minimum 5 cards from hand because they have to trash 1 to get to 7 and then 4 cards to get out of it each time. So that's going to cost 4 cards from hand. That's just going to be brutal. They could get out of it, to be fair. But guess what? After swinging 7 all those times, well, the first time I'll probably just swing for 5, to be honest, on the Jinbe, because we're going up to 8 Dawn next turn. I will pull back the Jinbe to get the extra attack in where I need it, and then I'll play out the Jinbe again to play out another Edward Weevil, and then next turn we're going to finish them off with a Hody Jones. It becomes very, very, very ugly for our opponent after that. Okay, good game to my opponent there. That was a good one, though. Sorry that was kind of a shorter game, but hey, I did at least want to show if you can go wide enough with this deck early on, it becomes a real monster to deal with. Okay, and some of these games are pretty fast, guys. I'm not going to lie. We're going so wide so quickly. It becomes a lot for our opponent to deal with when we're attacking twice with certain characters. Okay, so right here we're going to go against Purple Katakuri. They play out a Charlotte and Nana to start off their turn. They went first. We went second. We had no play. They have no play going second either. Or excuse me, on their second turn they had no play either. But now we are going to swing for 5. We have the Dracula Mihawk, which we will still have access to that, guys. We will still have access to that. Instead of trying to pull back the Mihawk to stand my Edward Weevil, I would rather him try to swing into that because I have 2K, 1K, 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 bunch of 1Ks in hand. So I could save that card pretty effectively here if I need to. So it looks like I might not need to. They're going to swing 7 into it. That's just an easy 2K counter to get out of that. And now it's our turn. And now we're cooking. Now we're really cooking, guys. We can swing for 5 with the Mihawk. We want that back in our hand anyway. We could just stand that up at the end of turn if we need it. Okay. We'll swing for 6 here. Very nice. So we swing for 5. We swing for 6. We're going to swing for 6. Pull back the Mihawk. Swing for 6. You know, so 6 is coming in with our leader. 6 more. I'm like, okay, if you don't have 2K counters, I'm just going to punish you. Right? That's how this is going to go. He did have a 2K counter. We play out another Weevil. Then we get the Jinbe, unfortunately. That would have been so nice having the Jinbe into Weevil. That would have been so disgusting. They're going to play out a Queen here, but guys, do y'all see where this is going? This is really not looking good for our opponent here because last turn was already devastating enough. Now we're going to have a follow-up with either a Jozu or a Jinbe. 8 into 6. We're not going to let him have that. 2K, 1K. There we go. And here we go. Here comes a lot more 6s. We're going to play out the Jozu, pulling back our Sengoku, bouncing their 5-cost Queen back to hand, swinging for 6, swinging for 6. Now we're going to be able to play out another Sengoku to draw some cards. And then actually, I guess it doesn't matter that much, but we will be able to do that. We'll get a 2K counter with it. We'll swing in for 6. I don't think we should pull a character back to hand here, but I might because I have a Jozu in hand. Or excuse me, a Jinbe in hand, rather. We're just going to let it go through and say, hey, it's your turn, man. I don't know what he's going to do next turn. If he doesn't remove 2 of my bodies here, the game, I don't know how you can counter out, right? Because it ends up being swing 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. That's 5 7s. That ends up being 5. If he cannot pull back one of these characters, he's going to get hit with 5 7s this turn. Okay, that's really, really bad news for my opponent here. They're going to swing 5, use the leader effect to go to 6. We're going to 1K counter out with the Gecko. They go ahead and concede. The game's over. They have 0 count. Actually, they have 1K counter in hand. They have 1 blocker on the board, 1 life, and no counter coming from life. They do have 2 of the events there, but I'm going to take both events. Right, both events are going to be gone. And when they use the first event, so notice I do have a Nefeltari Vivi in hand, or I have a Boa Hancock in hand. When they use the first event, I'm going to play down my my Boa Hancock, and I'm going to change whatever my top card was to a different cost, if it's possible. So that's something you have to really consider, you know, going against Katakuri, is after they use their leader effect for the first time, they can't use it again. Okay, it's only a once per turn, on your turn, or your, you know, on when attacking or when your opponent attacks. So anyway, they were in lots and lots of trouble there, and it was going to be at least 5 7K attacks that turn. 5. That's not an exaggeration, because it's going to be Weevil, Weevil, Jozu, Weevil again, and leader. 5 7K attacks coming in when they have a blocker, 1 life, and 1K counter in hand, but they did have 2 events. If we had gotten into a Hody Jones, we could have just closed it out for sure there, tapped down the blocker, tapped down one of the Dawn, and that's a wrap. It's over. All right, good game to my opponent there. Let's go on to the next game. Like I said, a lot of these games are very fast games because you're going so wide so quickly. This is almost like a rush deck sometimes. It's almost like an aggro, like rush deck, but I think it's technically more mid-range. Okay, so we're going against Green Purple Luffy here. Grape Luffy is what a lot of people call this. They start off with the Searcher going first. We're going to start off with the Searchers while going second, and we have a great follow-up turn. We have the most incredible turn 2 play going. And another Jinbe. You love to see it. We're going to have Jinbe into Edward Weevil here. Into next turn, Jinbe into Edward Weevil with pulling cards back, doing tons of damage along the way. This is going to be very, very ugly for my opponent. But let's see what they have. If they have the 5-cost 7K Zonji here, okay, they don't. Well, that's really rough for my opponent. Not having the Zonji is really, really hard on the opponent here. They're going to return 2 Dawn cards. Stand 2 is active. They're probably going to swing it for 8 here, maybe with their leader. Okay, play out another Nami to find some cards. Let's see what they find. I think they did end up finding the Zoro and Sanji, or excuse me, the Sanji and Pudding at some point, but I don't know when. Okay, just waiting on our opponent here. We are on 2x speed, guys. Let me make sure. Yes, we are. They're going to swing for 6. We'll 2K counter out of this. No reason to keep a bunch of cards in hand in this situation here and go too low too quickly, because Grape Luffy goes pretty can go pretty tall pretty quickly. All right, so right here, it is time to just demolish our opponent, guys. It is time to just simply demolish our opponent. We're going to swing for these 6s. We do have to swing for 6 because they're at 6,000 power. They 2K counter out. We're swinging for 6 more. Here we go. We're going to swing for 6 more with our leader. We're probably going to pull back the Jinbe here, standing up the Weevil. We want to get as many cards in their hand as possible. Swing for 6 more. We're going to replay the Jinbe, playing out another Edward Weevil. Your turn. Now my opponent has a very, very hard decision. They're going to play out the Zonji Pudding. But do you attack into my face, or do you attack into the Weevil? The Weevil's a 6,000 power body, so it's easier to defend. I would recommend they attack face. It's going to be much easier for me to counter out of that. They're going to go 6 more into. You can have a Jinbe because we already have another one in hand. And guys, this is a situation here. We're going 6 at face. If I top deck a Hody Jones at any point here, it's pretty much just over. We're swinging in for 6s on 6s on 6s, and it's going to be hard to get out of this. We're going to pull back the Jinbe again, standing the Weevil. We're going to go in for, no blocker, no Dawn active, and you took that last hit? Okay, well, guess what? Now it's just over. He had no counter left in hand, guys. We just hit him for 6s so many times. That's how this deck works. If we're about to go into a meta where there's very limited removal, guys, this leader, Green Blues, Zoro and Sanji, has some potential. Now, yes, we are about to lose Jinbe. I'm going to say that probably 20 times over the next, few minutes here. But yes, we are, or, over the course of this video, I mean. But if we're going to lose that, we do have to make some revisions. But guys, I think there's some potential. All right, next up, we got a game versus Shanks. Okay, we got a game versus Red Shanks. Like I said, I tried to get as many good games as I could, guys. We had Blue Purple Luffy, Enel, Nami, Katakuri, Green Purple Luffy, now Shanks. Then we have Black Smoker, Blue Nami, Red Yellow Bello Betty, and then a Black Yellow Luffy coming up. So, okay, we went second. They went Building Snake turn 1. We went Double Sengoku Searcher. They're going to swing in for 8 on this turn. We're just going to swing for 5. They're just going to use the leader effect, obviously. Okay, and then right here, we're just playing mind games with them here. Like, hey, what if I load up for 6 on Sengoku and swing? Or load up for 4 and swing 6 with Sengoku. They're going to play out a Yasop here and swing for 6 at us. That's fine. Okay, but here's what we can do now, guys. Now we have some options. We have some options here. And we don't choose the best options here, I think, unfortunately. But, hey, we choose some decent options, whatever the case is. We're going to swing for 6 at their leader. Let's see if they choose to use the leader effect early on. I just wanted that Building Snake off the board because that card comes in very handy for them. We're going to swing for 6, pulling back the Jinbe, standing up our guy, the Edward Weevil, and then we're going to play Jinbe out, and we're going to attach a Dawn here. We're going to swing in for 6 and bounce back one of our Sengokus there to do a search later. We're getting more cards out of our opponent's hand. We're attacking very aggressively. And if he gets rid of our Weevil, we don't really care, right? Okay, well, now it's going to be a swing 5, swing 6. We can get out of it pretty easily. Okay, but we might still let it go. No, we're going to 2K out. They're going to swing 6 more into it. I'm going to give him another 2K. So I kind of baited him to attacking again by giving him a 2K, but I had like 3 2Ks in hand. It was just the right call. I wanted all the other cards. So we're going to do a top search here. The name of the game here is to load up the board. We're going to swing in for 6 here. We're going to pull a card back to hand. I don't want to swing into the 6K body here with his leader effect active. It's just... he's going to get too much value from it. So we're going to play out the Sengoku again. We're just filling our hand up with these Sengokus here, guys. We're going to swing for 5. He'll probably use the leader effect here because it's just free. Okay, swinging for our opponent. They might even just 1K out and see what I do next. No, they're going to use the leader effect. I think that was the right call. Perfect. We're going to swing for 6. We're going to pull back the Jinbe, standing up the Edward Weevil. We're going to swing 6 again, guys, and we're going to get these cards back to hand. Okay, we're going to play out the Jinbe, cheating out the Weevil. Seems good. That's the whole play right there. That's what we're going for. Okay, they're going to play out an Uda here. They're trying to search for something. I don't know what. They still have 8 Dawn for the turn. Let's see what they choose to do with this. They have a lot of options. The game is not over by any stretch right now. They're going to swing 7 into 5. They're going to -1 to that character. Okay, you can have it. I can't save that card, realistically. They still have 7 Dawn left here. They're probably going to hit me with another Beckman. Oh, just a Yasop. Not bad. That's not bad. They're going to swing for 7 here, and we're going to 2K to get out of it, or 1K 2K to get out of it. And now we have a choice. We either have to go for the board or go for game. We don't have any other choice here. And I think going for the board is not the worst idea here because he does have, his leader is 6K, so we can go into the Yasop to slow him down. But hey, we're going to present lethal first. We're going to say, hey, you have to respect my attacks here. I'm going to swing in for 7 again. And now next turn, I can set up for some really big attacks, right? And I have a decent amount of counter power in hand, but really not that much, to be honest. Okay, and I don't have a blocker on the board. We're going to stand this card up. We're swinging in for 7. He's going to -1 and give me a 1K. Seems good. Okay, well, now I'm going to go for 7 more. Try to drop him down to 0 here. I'm just hoping he doesn't have a Edward Newgate at this point, guys. And I'm hoping I can somehow survive. Notice my hand. I only have 2 life. If he went for a game right here, okay, he's going to go 7. Okay, well, I have to respect that attack. If that one goes through, I have no chance of winning. He's going to swing in for 7 more. We do have enough to get out of this. I'm counting to see if I can bait him into fully attacking here. And I think I could have potentially baited him to attacking me, but it would have been a gamble depending on what was in my life. So I'm going to get out of those 2 attacks for sure, and now I'm pretty safe. They're going to play out an Uda to do some searching here. And now let's see what happens. I can pretty much guarantee you he will not be surviving next turn, though. Whoa, okay, going in for Uda. He has not given up on the chance to win this game. Or, okay, I thought he was swinging for lethal there, excuse me. I will 1K counter out of that. Now he has to swing in with the Yasop. Now we're completely safe. Let's see what they choose to do. They're probably going to play out a blocker and sit on 1 Dawn here. Yep. Tony Chopper, but here's the thing, I'm all in. Tap that down with Hody Jones, tap down your last Dawn, and I am all in. I have no other chance here. I think I should attach 1 Dawn to everything you see on the board here. Swing 6s. I should swing 6, swing 7. Okay, right here. Okay, pause. So what I was going to do was swing 6, swing 7, swing 6, swing 7, swing 8. There was basically no way out of it for our opponent here because this next attack is going to force the 0-cost 3K out of hand, but then the 6K is going to go through from my leader. Then I'm going to be able to swing in with my Edward Weevil again, and that's, you know, they're already, at that point, the game's over, but then I have a Hody Jones as well. Good game to my opponent. That was a tough one there. If they don't see enough removal from like the Rayleighs or the Ben Beckmans or whatever, it's lights out for your opponent against Shanks. They got to see their removal, obviously. Next up is a game against Black Smoker. You might be wondering, well, how does this deck fare against, you know, decks that are running black with lots of removal? And the answer is it's really rough. The answer is it is very, very rough, but if you see enough Jinbes and you can save them often enough, it becomes pretty manageable. Okay, so we went first. We start off with the Searcher here. We're going to swing 5. Let's see what he gives me. He takes it, so now we are going all in with the Searcher because we were going to do that anyway. I guess technically I could have swung for 8 there, but I like being able to get, you know, 2 different responses from my opponent there. So swing 5, swing 5. He's going to -1 there. I would also like for him to get rid of my character there. So pause real quick, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt the gameplay, but understand real quick what that does. We don't want the 1-cost Searcher on the field versus Smoker because he can use that every turn to buff his leader, okay? So we actually wanted to turn that sideways to kind of tempt him into attacking it anyway. He ends up getting rid of it with the Brook. He probably shouldn't have, to be completely honest, guys, but at the same time, not getting rid of it means I can bounce it back to my hand with Jozu later in the game and get value in that way. So I think it was probably the right call to get rid of it. Okay, so right here, it looks like we're going to swing in for 6, no effect here, and then we're going to play out a Jinbe into Weevil. There it is, guys. There's the play. And this is a hard spot for my opponent to be in. He could probably remove one of my characters, but both my characters is going to be very hard to do. Okay, he has a Hina. He's going to use the effect of the Smoker here to -1 to the Jinbe, but because we have a 0-power character or 0-cost character in play, he's going to already be able to get the buff for Smoker's effect. He's going to swing in for 4 with the leader, or excuse me, with the Brook to get rid of my Edward Weevil, and now he's going to be able to swing in for 7 with leader. We're probably going to have to counter out of this. Yeah, I think that was, I like to get kind of greedy, but we don't have enough counter power in hand here, and we don't have the board to really push through. Okay, we're going to go 5 into 4. He should just let this go, because I'll swing into it again if he doesn't. We're going to play out the Nefeltari Vivi here. Okay, not great. It would have been nice if we could have top decked a Jinbe there, but we didn't. We're going to play out the Edward Weevil, pass the turn, and now it's our opponent's turn again. Now, he kind of has the initiative here to take over this game. He's going to play out a Tashigi. He's going to attach it on to the leader, get the buff from his leader up front here. Seems good. Very well played. You can tell this guy knows how to play Smoker. He's getting all the buffs he needs, all the advantages he needs. He's going to swing for 7 into my Jinbe here. I'm going to need to save this to the best of my ability. He's going to swing 5 in the face. Okay, well, that I almost don't mind taking now because he kind of gave up the initiative there. Guys, I think he should be attacking into my Jinbe. Even though I will counter out of all of it, I'll lose all the cards in my hand here. But, hey, now I get to take one, counter out of the other, and I'm looking pretty good now. Now we're looking pretty good. Okay, we'll swing 3 into 3. Let's see if he wants to give me a, hey, I gave him 1 Dawn. If he wanted to give me 1 card from that, I'll take it. So, seems good. We'll go 5 into 5, see if he wants to save this. This is a card worth saving because that means he might not have much counter power in hand. Now we're going to swing 8 into the 6 here. Let's see if he chooses to save this. Nope, he does not. That was very wise. We're going to pull back the Nefeltari Vivi with the Leader's Effect, and then we're going to stand up the Jinbe, attack in with the Jinbe, and now we have initiative. Now we have the board back. He plays out a 10-cost Kuzan. Guys, I don't know about that one. I don't know about 10-cost Kuzan, but hey, if he survives this turn, maybe there is some argument for it. I mean, he should survive at least this turn. I only have 2. Well, I could go all in here with the Leader plus a Hody Jones, but that's a little... That's pushing things, right? That's kind of pushing things right here. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this turn. This is a tough one here. We can play out the Gecko, pulling back a Jinbe. Okay, we actually search up a 2K counter here. I just need to survive 1 more turn, and I can close things out next turn. At least that's what's going through my mind right now. We're going to swing in for 6 here, see what he wants to do. Swing in for 8, he'll probably take this. And now I'm going to play out the Gecko, pulling out the Jinbe, play out the Jinbe, pulling out the Boa, and here we go. Okay, attach a Dawn. I can't attach a Dawn to my leader with the effect, unfortunately, guys, because I'm not a 7 Warlords leader. You can only attach it to a 7 Warlords character or leader with the Boa Hancock's effect. All right, they're going to go ahead and play down the Tashigi here. They're going to -4. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everything's... I guess they can minus the Hody Jones. They're gonna pop the Hody Jones. I think there might have been some argument to try to go for game here, but I did have 5K counter in hand to get out of it potentially. So I should have been... I was probably going to be okay there. Okay, they're going to go ahead and get rid of my character there. They're going to use this. We actually get a really nice event there, but it wouldn't have mattered because we're going to play down Hody Jones anyway. We're going to tap down there, and this game's over, right? We're going to swing 7, 7, 7. If we had to there, we would have tapped down their blocker with our Hody Jones. Okay, they get a nice effect there, but again, it just simply doesn't matter. We're going to swing in for 7 there. They had 2K counter in hand altogether. So right there, okay, we had a few options. We could have swung for 7, 7, 7, 7 with our leader or whatever Dawn was left to just go all in, and that would have probably gotten through the blocker anyway. However, the other option was we play down the Hody Jones for 7 Dawn, and then we have 3 Dawn left to work with, where we could have gone 5, 7, 6, 7, 8, and that would have gotten through as well, I believe. Good game to my opponent. That was a tough one there for them because we got wide enough on the board. If they can't deal with our board with cards like Rob Lucci or like, you know, cards like Gravity Blade, I know this is a black deck, but some kind of card that can just wipe multiple characters on the board, it becomes very tough to deal with. All right, next up we got a game versus Blue Nami. I can tell you what, guys, this deck does very well against Blue Nami, especially if you make a few tech decisions. Like, I'm not even running Pudding in this list. If you're running Pudding, this leader can really, really beat up on the Blue Nami matchup. So we're going to start off with the Sengoku. Nothing too crazy here. And guys, we have a terrible start. We have no Edward Weevils. We have no Boa Hancock. We have no what's his name? Jinbe. We have no. Well, we do have Buckin, but we have no Weevils to cheat out with it. Okay, this is terrible, guys. This is really bad. They're going to Snake Dance to pull a card back to hand and save that card. I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know what the logic was there. We're going to go ahead and play this out, though. We'll swing in with this card. We'll play out the Dracula Mihawk, and I can't play out the other Mihawk because they share the same name. It says you can't do that. So we swung in for 3 there. We took out the Nami. He's going to swing for 5 and a 2. He can now play out okay, he's going to do a Sanji's Pilaf there and probably play out the Kaya again. Draw 2, trash 2. Interesting list this guy's running. Notice what we just saw there. Well, there's a Zeph, but we saw a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. There's another Zeph and a Belmir. Okay, so we can't expect Usopp to be in this list. This guy's running a hybrid version where it has the Dawn ×1 on hit effect where you can mill 7 cards. We're going to swing for 5. They have no Dawn open, so we're able to get an attack through. Seems good. We'll swing in for 6. We're not going to use the effect now. We're going to keep that guy at. I'm keeping that Mihawk rested, so he might want to swing into that if he plays out the Usopp. But I could have... Okay, they're going to swing into it, you know, with the leader. That seems good. I was hoping he would, like, play out an Usopp and do that because I was expecting that. Now, watch this, guys. Plays out the Usopp and swings face. I was like, oh crap. That's not good, man. This guy just milled 7. But hey, the good news is this deck is hyper aggressive and this is one of its best matchups. So we're going to swing 6 into 5. We're going to do a draw 2, trash 2. He just lets it go. I agree with that decision. And guys, we have to find a Jinbe. We just have to. We're gonna play out the Nefeltari Vivi. Beautiful. Now we can just swing for 5 at leader. Play out the... They just take it, by the way. They just take the hit. You can tell this is very much a hybrid list for Nami. This is definitely not your average list for Nami. They're going to swing 5 into 5 here. We're going to 1K counter out to save that. They still have 7 Dawn left, so now they're probably going to sit on some defensive events so that they don't get taken out of this game. But now it might be too late. That's how this deck works, guys. It might already be too late. Like on this turn, it might be too late. We'll see what happens. We're going to swing for 7. We're probably just going to pull the Dracula Mihawk back to hand. I don't think we can get enough effect from it here. They're going to White Snake here, and then they're going to counter out with, I think that was the 1-cost 2K Usopp's Rubber Band of Doom. Okay, so now they're a 6 leader. Now they're a 6,000 power leader. We're going to pull back the Nefeltari Vivi, swing in for 7. They Desert Spotted to get out of that. That's fine. We're getting as many cards as we can out of their hand, that we can right now. And we still have 2 other attacks potentially. Let's see what happens here. We're going to swing for 7 more. We're trying to fix our hand a little bit. Might swing for 8. I was considering swinging for 8. We'll go ahead and trash. Looks like we're going to trash the Weevil here and the Nefeltari Vivi. We don't need to draw any more cards this game. We're fine. And they Desert Spotted to get out of that. Seems good. Seems really good. And now let's see what they do. They're just setting their top cards. Now we're going to swing for 6 because they can't use a whatchamacallit. They can't use the card anymore. The White Snake. We're going to play out the Boa Hancock here, and we're going to go ahead and, well, we could have set an extra Dawn to one of our characters. No big deal. That's okay. So they have 15 cards left in deck. They have 5 cards left in hand, 15 in deck, 2 on the board, or 2 in life. And here we go, guys. It's coming down to the wire here. But I have a Hody Jones in hand, and that card is devastating against Nami. We're going to start off with a 6K attack to get around any kind of White Snake here. If they want to give me a 1-cost, they have to give me a 1-cost 4K. That was really bad for our opponent. Okay, well, that attack worked out perfectly. They're having to give me 4K counters for these attacks, guys. Seems good. We still have all of our Dawn left. So right here, we're going to swing in for 6 more. Let's see what he does. Lovelow Beam. Okay. Now we can go and play out the Hody Jones, not the Nefeltari Vivi. We'll play it over the Dracula Mihawk. We're going to swing for 5. He has to counter out of this with a... Okay, that's really bad for our opponent. We'll swing for 6, pulling back that Weevil, standing up the Mihawk. We're going to be able to swing for 6 and then swing for 8 here. They had a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, but it just, I don't know what they were trying to do there. They could have bottom decked our guy, but I don't think it mattered because they couldn't get out of the next attack no matter what from Hody Jones. Good game to my... Oh, they tried to pull back the Kaya to hand, maybe? I'm not sure. But let's go back real quick, guys. Let me see what they tried to do. So the last life that I attack in with here... Hang on. Okay. So we swing in for 6, and look what we do. We pull back the Weevil here, and they play out a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger trigger from their life, which can bottom deck a 5-cost or lower character. They tried to pull back the Kaya, I think, to survive the next attack, when they could have just bounced my guy back, but it doesn't matter, right? If you get rid of my my Mihawk, I still have an 8K attack coming in, and look at their hand, guys. They don't have a way to get out of it, okay? They didn't have a way to get out of the 6K attack. Okay, so good game to my opponent there, but like I said, this deck is very strong into Blue Nami if played correctly. Okay, next up we got a game versus Bello Betty, and then we got one more game versus Black Yellow Luffy. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x, here we go. Bello Betty's a tough matchup. They like to go pretty aggressive, pretty wide, just like we do, right? They like to go wide just like us. So we're going to do a top 5 search here with Sengoku. They got to go first. They played out a Bello Betty. We did a double Sengoku search. Seems really good. Now they're not going to want to attack in on turn 1 with that Bello Betty because we can get off the board so easily. Okay, we're going to 1K counter out of that with a Jinbe because we want to keep as much counter power and we want to counter out as efficiently as possible in this game. Sometimes I don't mind giving 2K counters for a 1K when I only need a 1K if it means I get to save stronger cards in hand that can give me more tempo on the next turn to help me take back initiative. But in this situation here, I'm going to be as effective as I can be with my counter power. We're going to swing it for 5. They counter out very wisely. We're going to swing it for 5 more. Guys, we're about to go super aggressive here. Swing 5, swing 6. Watch this. This turn, we're going to play out the Jozu, bouncing back their guy. Real quick, there was another option we could have done there. We could have actually swung in for 6 and 7 with the Weevil. So swing 7 Weevil, swing 6 with Leader, standing up, pulling back the Jinbe, restanding the Weevil there. Play out the Jinbe again to play out the Boa Hancock. But I did want to get that card off the board. That card that we pushed back, the Karasu, is dangerous on the board. They replay it, which is a good call. They're going to replay the card, but I'm basically telling them, like, hey, you're going to need to attack into me this turn. Okay, you need to attack into me. All right, so we can counter out of this one very effectively, but the most they can attack in for is like a 5 and then an 8. So we're going to take this one. They're going to swing in for 7, it looks like. Yep. Now we can 2K, 1K to get out, or 2K, 2K to get out of that one, because remember, we're at 4,000 life right now from the Karasu. Excuse me, they're going to swing in for 8 here. We have to take that. We're going to have to take that, but guess what? Their whole board is out of here. Their board is gone. We're going to go 2 into 0, and we do have a blocker, and we have decent counter power. We're just going to go into their entire board, guys, and go for lethal next turn. That's what's happening. We could have tried to go for lethal this turn. It was definitely an option. Okay, let's see what happens here. We're going to swing for... maybe we are going to go for lethal, guys. Maybe we actually go for lethal here. All right, we're going to swing for 7. They're going to take it. Any trigger. They might have a trigger. Let's see what it is. Okay. They get a Flaming Dragon King to set their top life card. And you know what, guys? Right here, I'm saying, that ain't nothing. You ain't got nothing there. You ain't got nothing, buddy. Don't even try it. So we swing in for 7 more. Does another Flaming Dragon King, trying to scare me off, pretty much. It's not happening. We're all in right here. Now, okay, whatever he... Yep, that's game. So what was going to happen next? Remember, guys, I still have 5 Dawn left and my leader attack. So it's going to be attached 2 Dawn to my leader to stand up my Jozu, pulling back my Jinbe, getting another counter power in hand, you know, if it came down to that. And then we're swinging in for, you know, we're throwing the kitchen sink at him after that. And he has no life. He only has 1K counter in hand, no Dawn active, no blocker. It's lights out. Game over. Good game to my opponent. All right, we got one more game, guys. We got a game versus Black Yellow Luffy. That's right. We probably won't be seeing this leader very much anymore, right? Black Yellow Luffy after the bans take place, but we'll have to see. Maybe in the future. Who knows? Maybe people will find out a better new list for like a Supernova list. I think that'd be really cool. Okay, they went first. They go ahead and do a Three Brothers Bond. We go ahead and start off with a Sengoku, pass it back. And we don't have any crazy start here unless we can get our hands on a Jinbe, which we do not. We can play out the... We're going to play out the Boa Hancock here. I am searching for a Jinbe. That is what we're searching for. So we just bottom decked all of that stuff. We need some better answers here. We can only attach a Dawn to our character. We do not swing at their leader, guys. We have to respect their leader attack. They're going to swing for 5 with the Sabo. That's interesting to me. They're going to take their top life card, put a top card back there. Okay, that makes more sense. They play out the Hiyori so they can play out the Sabo. They got a lot of value from that. They got to swing for 5, swing for 7. Seems good. We can block and... Well, we should just take this. I don't have any 2Ks in hand. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to play out an Edward Weevil. Again, we're just not seeing anything that we need right now. We're not seeing any of our ways to flood the board. We did see a Buckin, which is better than nothing, but now we have a character sideways on the board. Hopefully they don't take that out. We'll have to see what they do. But then again, maybe we do want them to take that out because we're down to 2 life already. Okay, we're going into turn 4. This is their, they're on turn 4, right? 1, 2, so yeah, they have 7 Dawn, right? So they're on turn 4 here. This is the top of the inning here, right? Of turn 4. Wait, is it the bottom of the inning? I haven't looked at baseball in so long. Whatever the case is, it is their turn 4, and then we're going to be on turn 4 on 8 Dawn. They're going to play out a Monkey D. Luffy here, the 5 cost that can KO if you have 2 or less life. It can KO a 4 or less. So now we're definitely not attacking into them, right? That's not happening. But let's see what they try to do here. We do counter out pretty aggressively here. They're going to swing 6 more into it. We're going to give a 2K counter here because that... Guys, they just rest their blocker. They just rest their blocker. That is crazy talk, guys. Okay. Yeah, we'll go 6 into that. Sure. We'll go 6 more into it. We'll stand up the Edward Weevil by returning the Buckin. You want to keep defending this card? Hey, I'm not in any rush, guys. I'm just not in any rush to like try to go for game here. We'll go 6 more into it. Give me all your cards. Give me all of them. Okay, he lets that go. Now we're going to pull this card back to bounce back that card. We're going to play out the Sengoku again. Get a 2K counter. Your turn. It is your turn, sir. They're going to play out a Hiyori. They still have 3 life because we're not attacking into life. They're going to play out the Luffy, cheating out the Luffy. Now they can use it to pop my my Boa or my Edward Weevil. I think getting rid of the Boa is probably the better call here. Because if he gets rid of my Weevil, I'm just going to take whatever hit he comes in with next. I'm not going to defend it. You know what I mean? In fact, he probably should just swing first with his Luffy, his leader. But Excuse me, but this guy is in a lot of trouble. Whatever he's going to do, he does need to get rid of something on the board, because otherwise I can just start pestering him. He's going to, let's see what he does here. Yeah, I think, oh, okay, he's going to load up. He's going to load up for 6. We're just going to let that go and say, hey, do you want to, okay, and he does. He did want to get rid of one of our cards on the board with his Monkey D. Luffy to draw some cards there. And get rid of one of our threats. But now we finally get to our Jinbeis. We're going to play out the Boa here. We're setting our top cards. We're going to grab a 2K counter at the beginning of next turn. We'll attach a Dawn to our Boa. And it looks like we can do some pretty big damage here. We're going to choose not to, though. We're going to let his power fall off and just completely OTK him on this turn. So the game's over. Okay, guys, for those who might be wondering, there's basically nothing my opponent can do here. They would have to go Flampe into Flampe, and then they'd have 8 Dawn left. They'd have to play out 2. Yeah, so they would have to go double Flampe here to get through this. Okay, that's not going to help them, guys. They have to get out of 5,000 life range. They have to get to the 7,000 or 9,000 life range, or it's over, because I have a Hody Jones in hand. Okay, we're going to block him a 2K here. Okay. I think you guys can imagine what's going to happen here. We're going to swing for 7 first. Let's see what he does. He'll probably take this. That's fine. Technically, he should block here. Okay, but he doesn't know that. We're going to swing for 7 more. He doesn't know it's in our hand either. We might just go for 7. I don't think we need Hody Jones, guys. I mean, we might play it out, but I don't think we need Hody Jones. Yeah, so he goes ahead and takes that. It's like, yeah, I don't think we should even worry here, guys. We're going to swing for 5, get a card out of hand. We're going to play out the Hody Jones over the Nefeltari VV. Standing those 2 cards down. It's over. It's over, guys. There's just no way out of it. It's going to be 6. We're going to pull this guy back. This will get a 2K out of hand, and then we're going to swing 7. I guess technically he could have survived here. Well, no, he couldn't have. It's going to be swing 7. It should have been swing 7, swing 9, whatever. We did it this way just in case he somehow countered out. We could sit on 2 blockers with decent counter power in hand. We would have been fine either way. All right, good game to this guy here. That was a fun one. Black Yellow Luffy. Hey, that was a nice one to end on, right? It's almost like a farewell to Jinbe in this deck. Where's he at? And almost like a farewell to Black Yellow Luffy as well. But we'll have to see what happens. I'm sure people will figure something out to keep the decks running. But as far as the future for this deck goes, yes, you can still run this card. Or excuse me. Yes, you can still run this leader with this deck. But it does become a lot weaker without the Jinbe. You'll still have ways to cheat out the Mihawk with the, the Weevil with the Dracula Mihawk or with the Buckin, and then you could replace Jinbe with any other 7 Warlords. Let me type in Warlord should bring it up. Let me see something. It did. Yeah, so you can replace the Jinbe here with something else potentially. Honestly, since we're going to have to keep the Buckin in if we stay with this package, maybe you replace the Jinbe with the other Weevil we're not running. Where is it? There's this one. The 4-cost 5K, 1K counter Weevil that has Dawn ×1 when attacking. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then place them in any order you'd like at the top or bottom of your deck. Or even the just vanilla Weevil. You know, we'll have to see what happens. They're all slash characters that we can cheat out with the Buckin or Mihawk. So there might be something there. There could be something there. I'm not saying there is. Who knows? We'll have to see. But it definitely hurts, guys. Getting rid of the Jinbe in this list really hurts. And the direction I'll probably be going with the deck moving forward is something more closer to like a film list. Let me see. I have tried to mess around with a Straw Hat version of the deck like this. And I just wasn't having much success, guys. It just was not working. Because while Brook is very good, it's like he's lacking in some way, shape, or form. I'm not sure how to explain it. I do think there is some merit to running Brook plus the Tony Chopper, and then we have the Sugars here to bounce things, or excuse me, to tap things down and go for them in that way. But it is not the same playing out, you know, a 4-cost 5K playing out a 3-cost 4K is not the same as a 4-cost 5K playing out a 4-cost 6K. It's just not the same, guys. It's a massive difference. It is a massive difference. Now, this Luffy is good, but it's not... It's coming at a much later stage of the game on a 7 Dawn or higher turn, so you lose a lot of tempo. So again, it just doesn't feel as good. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. What are your plans on moving forward with Green Blue Zonji now that we are losing Jinbe? Because for me, this is rough, guys. This is really rough. I was very upset to see this list go. I thought this was very good. Like this felt very fun to play. It was hyper aggressive, which I absolutely love. It was super aggressive. We have the Hody Jones in here. In fact, let me say that. Are you guys leaning more towards blue still, or are you going to try to go more green with it? Because I had another list I was running for a while. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it was this Green Blue Zonji 09 that had a little more green options, like the carrot. It had Neko Mamushi. I always love this Neko Mamushi card because a lot of people don't see this rusher coming, because while Hody Jones is really good, he can tap stuff down and go through like that, which wins games all the time. Neko Mamushi's not much worse because he's a 5 cost 6K, but I see him as a 6 cost 7K. And remember, guys, with our Leader's Effect, a 7,000 power character is really good for us. It's really important. We can't restand Hody Jones, and he costs 1 more Dawn just to be able to play out the Neko Mamushi would cost if we needed to buff him to 7K. So that's something we have to consider. Do you guys see what I'm saying? This is a 7 cost 8K, and this is a 6 cost 7K if we need him to be with Rush. If our opponent has 7 or more rested cards on the field, which is usually pretty common at this stage of the game, we'd need it to be, for this to be active. But I do like the Neko Mamushi in Zoro and Sanji. And in fact, maybe that's what we do going forward, guys. Now that we have Nefeltari Vivi, this new 3 cost card Nefeltari Vivi right here, maybe we just make a best cards in slot type of deck, because then we can play out the on curve, just play out the carrots. We have the Hody Jones. We should probably be playing Pudding, period, just regardless of what we do. We'd have access to Neko Mamushi. Maybe we start playing the Dracula Mihawk at that point, the 6 cost 7K. Edward Weevil, though, maybe we still run the Edward Weevil at that point. Maybe we run like 4 of the Edward Weevil, 4 cost 6K, and the other one we were running. Let me go back to the this Weevil Buckin list here. Excuse me. Maybe we still run the 2K counter Mihawks and the 2 cost Buckin, and then the 4 cost Edward Weevils here. This one that can bounce a 3 or less to the hand, and the one that draws a card. So maybe we keep this like 12 or 16 card package right here, and then we just run a best of everything type of deck. Like we just play out the Nefeltari Vivis. We have the Hody Jones. Maybe we run the carrots or the smokers, because that's another card we have to consider, guys. Let me just bring it up over here in the 5 cost slot. Now we have for green, we have this really powerful card, Smoker. Where is it? There it is. We have this really powerful 5 cost 7K Smoker here with Banish. If we can attack twice with Banish for 7K, seems good. And then we play out our cards, and we can stand it on as active at the end of turn, or excuse me, for our activate main. This card is just really, really powerful. It has a lot of potential. It has a lot of potential. And at that point, if we do end up going Nefeltari Vivi and not going with a specific type to search up, where we can get rid of the Sengokus, maybe then we start going different 2K counters. Like this, maybe we start going the Tashigi that just came out. So maybe we run the Dracula Mihawk to cheat out the Edward Weevils, and then we run out the 3 cost 4K Tashigi. It can protect our board. It just has a lot of value. But yeah, we have a lot of decisions to make going forward. I think we still keep the Jozu. I think we keep the Hody, like I said. Maybe we keep the Buckin and Weevil package with Dracula Mihawk. That's like, let me just say that. These 20 cards should pretty much be in the deck, period, in some combination of numbers. Where it's like, maybe it should be 25 cards in the deck. Maybe half the deck. I'm gonna re-say everything I just said there. Maybe half of the deck should be what I'm about to say. Nefeltari Vivi, Weevil, Buckin, Mihawk, Hody Jones, and Jinbe. Or, excuse me, Jozu. Excuse me, I meant to say Jozu, obviously not Jinbe, because that's going to be banned. Maybe that package right there, those, like maybe 25 cards or so, those should probably remain in the deck no matter what. And then the remaining 25 cards, maybe we make some decisions on like, okay, well, what's a good quality utility 2K counter? And honestly, I think Tashigi is. There are some other options as well. Maybe we add in Puddings at that point. We have a lot of options in the deck. But other than that, guys, I am curious to know what you guys think about this. Let me get rid of this and just kind of look. Let's look for some top end cards. Let me just start at 7 and go from here. We would really, well, actually, we have the Hody Jones. Maybe we don't mess with this slot, even though I always was a fan of this Doflamingo. Bouncing back a 7 is massive, guys. Going against Grape Luffy, if they play out their guy on curve, like if they're going second and they play out the 5 cost 7K Sanji and Pudding, if they play that out on curve and on their 6 Dawn turn, we'll be able to play this guy out on curve on our 7 Dawn turn to bounce him back, even with the buff from the stage. And that's very relevant. That's actually very powerful. It slows them down enough. It gives us a 7K body. This card might actually be very good moving forward. We'll have to see what happens. Let me just see any kind of 8 cost characters that might stand out to me. Whoops, I typed 87. 8 cost characters. None of these are really speaking to me. I'm not going to lie, guys. None of these are really speaking to me. I mean, I guess Kazuki Odin's kind of a cool idea, but I just don't think it's going to happen. 9 cost characters. Yeah, I don't think we should go into the 9 and 10 cost character range. I just don't think we should do it, guys. I just don't think it offers us enough. Maybe Doflamingo, because this can just win you a game out of nowhere, but probably not. I don't think we should go into that range. I think our top end should be from like 5 to 7 Dawn. That should probably be our top end spot. And for 5 Dawn, like I was saying, we have access to Carrot. We have access to the new Smoker. This card's really powerful. And from green, even Jory Bonnie, it's not like this is a bad card. This is still a very good card. But for blue, that's about it for green. For blue, the 5 cost slot is not really attractive to what we're trying to do. I mean, none of these cards stand out to me. Other than the new Nami. There is the new Nami we have access to. This is a 5 cost 6k, 1k counter blocker. On play, if your leader's multicolored, draw 3 and put 2 cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. That's a really good card there. This is just a 5 cost 7k vanilla. What else? That's honestly, guys, that's actually it. Zeph is interesting because on play you can bounce back a cost 3 or lower character to the owner's hand, and then you may trash 2 cards from the top of your deck. But just bouncing cards out of our way and getting a 5 cost 6k on the board, 1k counter in hand, that's kind of interesting. But I think we have way better options. But for the 6 cost slot, let me see what's in here. We do have access to Krieg potentially, but we don't have double attack on the first. Like if we're trying to attack with this guy for 7 first to stand him back up with our leader, he won't have double attack. And if we attach 1 Dawn, he doesn't get double attack either. I think this is still a very good card. But I will say this, if we're going to grab a 6 cost card, it's probably going to be this Jozu, or it's going to be like this Dracula Mihawk. I think those are our two. Even this card, guys, even Boa Hancock is not too bad. As far as removal goes, I don't know if we want to run much removal like Gum Gum Red Rock. I think we just focus more on the Hody Jones. Because for those who might be wondering, like, well, how strong is this deck against something like Blackbeard? I should have focused on a Blackbeard matchup. I just didn't think about it. I think this deck does very well into Blackbeard, unless they just see an absolutely, pristine removal hand, which happens. It does happen. But I think this deck is actually pretty decent into Blackbeard, all things considered. But yeah, that's about it for the 6 cost slot. I do think Boa's pretty good, but it's an 8,000 power body. But this Dracula Mihawk and this Jozu, I think these are the prime candidates here. Jozu still takes the cake for me because of how he just bounces cards back to hand, just bounces cards out of the way. Like, get that card out of here, and now I've got a 7k body, it's a 1k counter in hand, and we can pull back our cards like Buckin, pull back our Sengokus, our Nefeltari Vivis, whatever we have to do. It has a lot of potential there. But other than that, guys, I mean, that's about it for the 6 cost slot. I do think this Sanji's decent. This is a 6 cost 7k with an on play. Return up to 1 character with an original power of 5,000 or less to the owner's hand. Not bad. And then when this character is KO'd by an opponent's effect, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and play up to 1 character card with the type Straw Hat Crew, and it costs a 5 or less, then place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This is not really good for what we're trying to do, that second part, so he's really just a 6 cost 7k that can bottom deck a 5,000 power character or less. Or bounces a 5,000 power character less to the owner's hand. Not really what we're trying to go for. And then for the 7 cost spot, we have the Hody Jones, and we talked about Doflamingo. Everything else in here, I don't think is... Well, actually, hang on, I didn't even think about Jory Bonnie. Jory Bonnie, this is a new EB02 card coming out. 7 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter. It is a Supernova Bonnie Pirates character. On play, up to 1 of your opponent's rested characters will not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. Then, at the end of your turn, set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active. That part doesn't matter for us at all. We have no events in this deck that can help us on our opponent's turn. But let me say this. This card's not bad otherwise. It's a 7 cost 7k with a 1k counter that locks down a character for the turn. It's kind of like a direction we can go with this list. I just thought about this, guys. We can go more of a lockdown control type of, direction with the list. We can snag cards like Ryuma to KO the rested characters, or we can play out the cards like this Lord of the Coast and the 5 cost Bonnie to lock down our opponent's board. We have a lot of options there. We have access to this Zoro. This actually came in the starter deck that Zoro and Sanji is, ST12, and this card was meant to be played with the leader because that when attacking effect is not once per turn. That is a when attacking, not once per turn. So you get to swing in, do things from there. It's a very powerful card if it sticks. And we are about to enter into a field where there's much less removal, I think. So maybe it will stick more often than not now. We'll have to see. see. But with that when attacking effect, you can absolutely control the board. And if we start comboing that with cards like Lord of the Coast, or like the card we are looking at, that new 7-cost Bonnie, the 5-cost Bonnie, the 5-cost Carrot, we could go with more of a lockdown style of control with this deck. The other option, one more thing I'll say before we finish off this video, is the film deck. I made a film version a long time ago of this deck, guys. Let me see if I can find it. It might be this Zonji Film 85. Yeah, I think this is kind of it. Or this is a version, at least, that I used to run, or something very similar, where it's basically just a green Straw Hat film deck. You've got your searchers in Nami. This can search up any film card. This Uda is a film card. This the Zoro's not. Neither are any of these cards on the bottom. Well, none of these cards on the bottom, other than this Luffy, are film cards. Like, none of these are film cards except this one Luffy. And then this Zoro is not film either. But everything else is film. Goodness gracious, that scared me. That scared me so bad, guys. I had an update to my my Riot client. It said, "Do you want to allow Riot to make revisions to your you know, to your computer or the computer?" You guys know what I'm trying to say. That scared me so bad. I thought my computer shut off, and I was about to lose like 57 minutes or whatever this has been of recordings. That would have really frustrated me. Thanks for scaring me, Riot. Appreciate it. All right, we're wrapping up on that note, guys. That freaked me out so bad. Anyway, the rest of these cards at the top are film cards. You got Sanji, Bluno, Tony Chopper, Nami, of course, Brook, and Luffy. And this is just a good way to flood the board. And if we're going to stick with this route, this is not a great 3-cost card to cheat out with the Brook. It can cheat out, excuse me, play up to one film or Straw Hat type character with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. We can play out any of these cards, like the Usopp. So this Luffy, this Usopp, this Sanji, this Bluno is a film card, right? It says film or Straw Hat. So yeah, we can cheat this out, or the Nami. But we might also, at that point, want to include some other cards to the deck. Let me just type in Straw Hat. We can, at that point, we can potentially include the 3-cost Usopp, because it's just a nice 3-cost 5K, 1K counter searchable card for the deck. Or this Zoro, by the way, just randomly having nothing to do, because we do have the new Nami searcher here that searches up Straw Hat. But this new Zoro, pause and read this. It allows on play, you can rest down a 4 or less, and then if your opponent has 2 or more characters on the field, you can attack characters on the turn this is played. So on play, rest down their 4 or less, attack into it if they have 2 or more characters. Seems good. Even just resting it down is really good as well. All right, I'm done yapping. This is the direction we're considering for the list, guys. What do you guys think? We came up with 3 options there. Do we go more the film route? Do we go more of a green route or a blue route? Or do we stick with the 7 warlords? What do we do, guys? Do we make a best of type deck where it's just all the best cards in their respective slots? Or what? What's your guys' call? We have a lot of work moving forward. Let's say goodbye one more time to our guy Jinbe. Hey, it's been real, bro. It's been real. Have a good one, Jinbe. We're gonna miss you, right? All of us green blue Zonji players out here are gonna really miss you. But yeah, I'm going to try to revisit, now that the bans have been announced, I need to get through some of these videos that I've had, you know, for a while now. I had like 75 videos just stored up pretty much, or like 70 or something like that. So once I'm done with these videos, I want to move forward and try to make some of these decks work again that are losing cards that are banned. Okay, so we got a lot heading, you know, we've got a lot of work to do on the channel here, guys. I think tomorrow's video will probably be a revisiting Yellow Enel. I do have like a few copies of Raigo in that list, I think, but we'll talk about that more as we get into it. All right, I'm done. I'm even getting into tomorrow's video. What am I doing? All right, we are done, guys. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, view. If you're doing any of those things, you're helping me out, guys. Viewing myself alone helps me out. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you're supporting me through Patreon, PayPal, donations, getting playmats, becoming a YouTube member, hopping on the Discord community, it really helps me out. I really appreciate it. We will be streaming tonight from 9 p.m. Eastern to 12 a.m. We do that every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, okay, guys? So be sure to stop by. We'll talk about the bans restrictions. We'll talk about block rotations. We'll have a good time on there, okay? All right, I'm done. I'm done. Have a good one, guys. See y'all next time. Hopefully see you on the stream tonight. Please do not forget to like, subscribe. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put those in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, peace.